Gemini, ready for a little peace and ease in amongst all of this chaos? Well, let's have an aligned astro chat about it to see how we can get you there. Hello, all. I'm Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your transformational tarot reading for August. And this is part of my Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life. So excited to be tuning in for you guys today. And we are actually going to be starting out today reading the cards from the Fifth Element. And I apologize, the Fifth Element Tarot. I do not have the box. The box is in a box somewhere. And I can't even remember the name of the author. So I'll look that up and make sure that I put that in the description. And then we're doing an overarching theme from Self Sorcery by Lisa Lister. So let's get to it. Okay, so first we are going to pull an overarching theme for you guys. And I really feel like this month for you guys, there's a lot that's transpiring. There's a lot that's spinning around you. There's a lot going on. And I feel like it's really important for you to find some semblance of balance and centeredness, not necessarily grounding, but centeredness. Let's see what your card says. You are holy. I absolutely love this. So the first thing I'm really drawn to is actually the bee, the worker bee. And, I talked about peace and ease for you guys today. I feel like the peace and ease is going to come in you being in this situation. Sorry, I forgot to turn my light on here. Being in a situation and circumstance where you are recognizing that you need to put in your time, put in your work, do what needs to be done. But then at the end of the day, put your work to the side. Hold boundaries for your peace and your ease. I'm also really drawn to, I'm going to call it like a perfume bottle. And I feel like this is a month where you want to really be paying attention to your scents. And so, of course, the perfume bottle, it's all about olfactory. What do things smell like? What is the scent out there? And I feel like when we're talking about scent and we're talking about perfume, the energy that I'm kind of getting for you guys around here is paying attention to the senses, because they're going to bring to the forefront particular memories that are designed to help you to be able to create more of that particular memory. So it's not about going down the garden path, going down memory lane. It's not about being in the past. It's more about remembering, oh yeah, I have felt this way before. And because I have felt this way at some point, now I know that I can recreate that sensation or that feeling. So you are holy. You are the ability, you're whole. You have the ability to manifest your desires. And I feel like that's what August is bringing, is an opportunity for you to kick that co-creation and manifestation into high gear. And you have everything you need in your now to be able to do it. The sensations, the senses are important for you at this time. So I feel like this is a month where you're going to be getting physical. And in that physicality, I feel that the answers will come. The peace will be there and the answers will come. All right, so our first question. This is the present moment where you're at right now in your transformational journey. What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Ooh, interesting. Seeker of Shells. So the seeker in this deck is a page. So this is the Page of Cups. And I feel like when we are talking about where you're at right now, especially in relation to that sort of peace and ease, I feel like what you on a soul level have been craving is a little bit of gentleness, a little bit of that creative energy, a little bit of the, let me be able to go out into the world on my own time, in my own way, without all of the, I want to say, all of the expectation, without other people telling me what my responsibilities are, telling me what needs to be done. I really want to be in a space and a place to be able to breathe. And I feel like when we're looking at this particular picture, she's got she's a mermaid here, and she's drinking from the cup. She's drinking from the shell. And I feel like here, this is really about you taking the opportunity to drink from that cup of creativity, to drink from that cup of student energy. But I feel like you have to take it. It's not something that's going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You have to take it. And you are whole. You have everything that you need. You don't need someone else to come in and give you permission to be creative or to take that time for you to step in and open your mind. And I feel like maybe that's the message. And also, in this particular depiction, it's at night. It's the nighttime. So it's under the moonlight. It's allowing the shadow to come to the surface so that you can examine and evaluate it. It's not about being afraid of the shadow or the darkness. It's about, this is time to look at it from a different light and from a different perspective. And I just want to point out, in this particular depiction, we have the moonlight, and we also have this star that is, in the background. You almost don't see it. And I feel like the star is that's why you're feeling that energy to create, to be able to create in your own head, in your own mind, and peace of mind, and all of that jazz. It is about being able to explore and expand upon the vision that you're creating for yourself. But again, if you're waiting for someone to give you permission to do it, it's never going to come. So don't wait. Act now. Set that up for yourself now. Also, water is the psychic realm. And I feel very strongly that this is a month where your psychic skills and abilities are going to be on overdrive. So you really want to prepare yourself for that as well. And I feel like they're not only on overdrive, but they might not be on the nose. Like, you might notice that you're receiving a lot of information, but then you have to interpret it a little bit, or you have to ask some clarifying questions. And I want to say, anyone who has a deck of cards this month, you want to have that deck of cards on hand next to your bed, after you've had a dream, or in your purse, so that when you get that, midday download, that you've got something that you can say, okay, what does this symbol mean? Universe, what are you trying to tell me with this? So be prepared for that. I feel like the psychic energy is going to be alive and well and thriving in your situation. But it may require a little bit of time to decipher 100% what is going on. And don't be discouraged by that. It's a sign that you're up leveling in a really big, really important way. It's a lot all at once. So there's a lot that's coming at you at once, and it's just a lot to sort of decipher and discern. Here is our catalyst. What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Oh, beautiful. A realization. So this is the judgment card in the tarot. And when we're talking about what is fueling or hindering your transformation, you're really at a choice point. And I feel like when we are talking about the peace and ease, needing that creativity, I feel like what's really transpiring in your life is there are a lot of things that are coming up that are causing you to say, is this really worth it? Is this worth my time? Is all of the stuff that I am doing right now, are the ways that I am spending my time and investing my time, my life, my energy, the people that I'm investing in, is it all worth it? I almost want to say to you, this is like for people who are in a role or a position or a job that you've often questioned, has it outrun its course? Am I ready for something different? Maybe some of you are thinking, considering retirement. Whatever it is, I feel like it's really, the question becomes, do I want to keep doing this? And do I want to keep doing it in the same way that I've been doing it all along? And I feel like that's a really interesting, what's the word I'm looking for? Realization. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my screen here. It's a very interesting realization for you to be coming to, because I feel like that's the whole point. That's why the universe is asking you the question in the first place is, do I really want to keep doing this in this way? And when we talk about the judgment card in the regular Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, it really is about decisions. It's about coming full circle, coming to almost the end of a cycle. And the choice is, have you learned what you needed to learn? Or are you ready to move on? You know, we can do one more kick at the can, you know, if you're not ready to move on. But if you are ready to move on, here's the next adventure. And here we go. And, you know, in this depiction, we've got, you know, a family, you know, a male, a female, and a little baby. And it looks like we're dealing with venom. We're dealing with the snake eye, right? So snakes are about transformation. They're about healing. They're about wisdom. And it's about choosing that space, choosing to step into that energy. So you're going to have this aha moment. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's going to come in the form of what you're doing from a work perspective. Don't be surprised if one of those realizations that shows up for you is, wow, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's going to be like when you have the aha moment, when you have the realization, it's going to be in that moment for you a hard stop. And I feel that once you make up your mind, there's no indecisiveness. There's no going back. I feel very much that it's not going to be a self-doubt thing. It's going to be more of all right, I'm choosing a date. I'm choosing a time. Here's how things go next. And I'm hearing that the universe is going to support you in that. You know, the universe is going to step in and say, okay, you know, they've made up their mind, and now we're going to provide them with the next opportunity. We're going to provide them with ways to be able to navigate this hard stop, or this 180, or this 90-degree turn, because that's what they're ready for. That's what they want. The deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Yes, detachment, the 8 of shells, the 8 of cups. And I feel like, this is so important, Geminis, because you guys are troopers. You're in there, you're in it to win it. You do what needs to be done. You get, you know, you roll up your sleeves and you go all in, because there's nothing that you ever want to do that's half-ass. Well, for the most part. I mean, let's call it when things matter. You do have that energy of, okay, like, you know, enough is enough. Like I'm going to call this good. I'm not going to waste my time on, you know, frivolous efforts. But when push comes to shove, and when the things are really important, that's your stamp of approval. That's your name. That's your integrity. That's your brand on it. So, you know, for you guys to really be in that space of, okay, I see now that where I'm putting my time and my energy it's no longer fruitful from the perspective of the legacy that I want to leave behind, and from the perspective of what I want to experience in my life. Suddenly I feel misaligned. You know, yesterday I felt really aligned. Today I feel misaligned. And so how do we get realigned? We detach ourselves from the very situation, circumstance, experience, person that is creating the misalignment. And I just keep seeing like a ball and chain, not from a derogatory marriage perspective, more so from what was the point of the ball and chain, so that the prisoner couldn't run away easily, right? Or we could say the anchor, the noose around the neck, or the anchor that keeps you rooted or stuck to one space. You can move around a little bit in that space, so it gives the illusion of freedom. But at the end of the day, there's a boundary there. You know, at the end of the day, there's a range, a limit to where you can go. So I really feel like the deep root here is you not knowing or feeling comfortable enough with being able to cut yourself free and cut yourself loose. But this is saying, yeah, we're doing that. We're letting go and we're moving on. We're moving on to something grander. And we don't even know necessarily what that is, but we don't need to. I feel like that's really important. Also, the fact that it's an octopus seems pretty significant because the octopus has the eight tentacles, right? So I feel like you have, again, you are holy, right? You have everything you need. You've got 8 different ways to approach this. There are multiple different ways for you to approach this. And I feel like after the realization, this is all going to make so much sense. And the clarity is really going to be profound. So what's dying away? What part of you is falling away at this time? And what role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Yeah, this isn't a card of illusionment. But I want to say I feel like the illusion or the fantasy or the concept. Okay, so here's what I'm getting. And just bear with me as I walk through this. This is the soulmate card. So this, for me, this is the idea, the 2 of shells, 2 of cups. The idea here is that there's a union, a pairing, a partnership. There's a meeting of minds, hearts, and souls. What I'm feeling here when I look at this card for you right now is that you've been like chasing the illusion that life has been presenting. It's like, okay, I've done all the things and the stuff in the right way. I've done the things that, the world tells me I'm supposed to do, or that society has implanted upon me, or that my parents instilled in me. I'm doing all of these things. And now suddenly it's like I recognize how it's no longer the right pairing. It's no longer fruitful in the ways that I thought it was going to be, or in the ways that I needed it to be. It's no longer providing me, sorry for the reflection here. It's no longer providing me with what it is that I need. And so the 2 of shells, enrichment, when we're talking about what's dying away, I feel like you're letting go of the dream. It's like the death of the dream, the death of the falsehood, the death of what you've been chasing, thinking that that was always going to be the right, appropriate, proper destination. Well, now you're throwing all of that by the wayside because you're now recognizing this was never the point all along. And I see so clearly now that in order for me to get back on track, I need to let this go and I need to choose a different path. And 2 is creating a new plan as well. So choosing a new path is creating a new plan. It's directional. And that word enrichment, I feel like maybe it's the messaging that I'm getting, because I read intuitively, is less about that enrichment and more about we talked about detachment, right? It's detaching from the illusion of what is right and wrong. And you're stepping now more into a space of, I'm going to make a choice that feels right to me. And through that path, I seek enrichment, because the path that I've been taking right now, all of this craziness, is not enriching me or enriching to me any longer. Interesting. So I feel like there's a major shift that's happening for you here, a major shift. This might be the month that when you look back, you're going to say, oh, that was the month and that was the day and that was the time and that was the year that my life changed, and it changed irrevocably for the better. I like that. Okay, so now we have your highest phoenix potential and what can rise from the ashes. So as a result of you choosing this, what is coming from this? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Oh, look at that. Peace. Ha! 3 of feathers, peace. 3 of swords, interesting. So normally we see this card as a card of heartbreak, right? We often see the heart in the center of it with the 3 swords in between. I love that this is represented as peace, because I feel like that in the end is exactly what you've been seeking all along. And you've hit the mark in some respects, but it hasn't hit the mark in every respect. And I'm really drawn to the rainbow that is peering through the clouds here. And I feel like when we are talking about your highest potential and what your soul is calling you toward, it's calling you to lighten up. It's calling you to, and I mean, you're Gemini, you're an air sign. So this is one of your your home cards, right? Being in the mind, the mental space. I feel like this is calling you to lighten up, to not see what is transpiring as a problem, but instead to see it as the solution to what you've been feeling for a long time and have not been able to reconcile. Again, this brings clarity. The realization brings the ability for you to detach so that you can choose a new path, and the choice of the path is peace. And I don't mean to say that peace isn't available to you right now, but I would say to you, like, this is the potential that you're leaning into. So you have to choose it first before the path reveals itself. And the rainbow, I feel, is basically saying to you, it's guaranteed. Once you choose this path, once you commit to your own peace, even if you don't know yet what that means, you just know this isn't it, then I feel that the rainbow says your success is inevitable. Your success is assured. You're going to have a lot of support. Whenever we have winged creatures in a card deck throughout the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, it's always connected to source energy, the source beings, divinity that is here to support you and to help you out. So I feel like they're supervising what's going on. They're going to lead you to that rainbow, but they're on standby until you actually lean into it and you say yes. Ooh, I like that. And I like that we have a 2 and a 3. A 2, the 20, the judgment is a 2. And now we have another 2 and a 3. So definitely you're moving ahead on, I want to say, like a new old path is kind of the energy that I'm feeling. So this might also be that you go back to something that you haven't been able to focus on in a long time because you've been so busy with this other stuff. Well, now that you realize that this other stuff is no longer your ideal focus, it doesn't keep you aligned. This is, I feel like, the new. So what's emerging? What's just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Oh, beautiful. We have the star card. And didn't I mention that earlier, that we have the star? And I talked to you a little bit before about the vision that you've had that you've not really been able to expand upon because you haven't had the time. You've been, I don't want to say distracted, but you've been focused on a different outcome. Well, now the star card is coming in to say, here's the new focus. And remember when I mentioned that I feel that there's a spiritual up-leveling that's happening? This card is screaming that to me, especially with the Merkaba here in the center. And of course, we have all of the Merkabas, almost like a moon cycle, right? We have all of the different phases and cycles. These are all the potentials and the possibilities. This is the one that you're choosing, but you have other options as well, and you can add those into the mix. It can be a both and, not an either or. I also find it really fascinating that the two hands have come together, and there's water that the star, it looks like the star is either trying to soak up the water or is feeding into the water. And the water is a waterfall, and it's going in 5 different directions. So everything about this card right now is saying to me, you have multiple paths. Don't get caught up in the, oh my God, what choice do I make? Or what's the right path to choose? Go instead into the, I can do all of these things. Which one would I like to apply first? Let me take a test run with this one to see where this takes me. And a Merkaba is a geometric, sacred geometry shape that we can create in our minds, in our mind's eye, or in our imagination, or you can stare at a picture of it, or you can just write it out, whatever you want to do when you are meditating. And the whole idea here is that it is the mode of transportation that takes you out of this world or out of this dimension and into other dimensions or other worlds, other existences, while you are still having your existence here in this body as you. And I feel like that is what is going to be at play here in August for you, why you're going to be receiving these downloads and these other psychic gifts that are cropping up, and the information that presents itself, because it's going to connect you to other parallel lives of yours or potentials that you didn't choose, but now they're coming back for another round. I can choose this now. Now I'm free to explore this path or to do that thing. I feel like some of you, not all of you, about a third of you are going to have an opportunity to literally go back to a person or an experience in the past that was incomplete, and you're going to have the ability to say yes to completing that journey or that experience or that cycle. It's kind of like the analogy I'm getting in my head is, if you ever were on a trip and something didn't go quite right and you had tickets to, see a particular show or to go to a particular event or museum, and something happened and you weren't able to go. Well, now all of a sudden something is coming up where you're able to go and do that and have that experience now. Again, not for all of you where it's as literal as that, as going back to the past, to the specific past experience. For the other 2/3 of you, I feel like what this is really going to be about is that recognition that there are things about the past that you can bring into your now that are going to help you with that visioning, with that not realignment, because it's a new alignment. The whole thing is fresh, but helping you with that fresh alignment into the next space, phase, and journey. Oh my goodness, I love that. Also, it's this is an Aquarius card, so it's another air card for you, another air sign that's coming through to support you. Here is your role, you in this process. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Grieving stands out to me. Elementor of Stones. So the Elementor in this deck is the, I think it's the Queen. Queen of Stones, and Stones is Pentacles. So if I have that wrong, we'll find out soon. If I pull another one, I'll be like, oh yeah, no, that's the one. But we're going to read it as the Queen of Stones at this point. So Queen of Pentacles. So when we're talking about you in this process, I feel like this is what you have always tried to emulate. This is always kind of like the goal for you, is to be that space of resource for your people, to be reliable, accountable, to always have the answer, to have the thing that everybody needs. I keep seeing an old friend of mine. It was like the purse that they carried. No matter what it was that you needed, she had it. So like it's like a mother, right? Like when you're a mother to young children, you have like baby wipes and Kleenex and pens and paper and like all the, nail clippers and like everything you could possibly need, in a crisis situation. It was in that bag, like Hermione's bag, like it was like the room of requirement was in this little bag. And that's what I feel like you guys have been really emulating for most of your life. This month, I feel like the Queen of Pentacles, it's like her role is changing. You're understanding now that actually that is not like the resources that I have. Okay, fine. Like I'm grateful for them. I still need, food on my table and a roof over my head and like all of those things. But I don't necessarily want to be teaching this anymore. I don't want to be passing all of this on. This is baby stuff. People should be, covered in those ways. I want to be the teacher that teaches the higher level, the next version. I want to be the next version of myself. There's almost this desire I see of you guys to like we said, once you make up your mind, once you make up this decision, it's like, oh my God, how fast can I get there? Like, can I be there now? Can we just do it now? There's this element, and it's interesting because Queen of Pentacles typically is, I want to say like a slow and steady wins the race kind of energy because of that pentacleness. You know, it takes the time that it takes to do the creation. I feel like you are not resisting that. You're just breaking out of that. You're breaking out of that now, and you're saying, I want to explore a different element. I want to explore a different path. And I'm going to say to you, there's a lot of energy that's going to support a swift release if you so choose it, but you have to choose it. And I feel like that's why she's here. She's saying, okay, yeah, I'm the rock. I've been here. I'm solid. I'm going to be here for a long time. I'm not going anywhere. But there are ways that I can expand through the water, right? There are ways that I can expand and go into other places. I can be as slow and steady as I want, or I can be, fast, quick on the draw McGraw, if that's what I choose to do and be. But it is about choice. Queens are about delegation, organization, and structure. And I feel like you're shifting up the structure, and you're maybe turning Pentacles on its head. So don't be afraid to reinvent the wheel a little bit here, because I feel like that's what is required at this time. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or negative influence? Solar logos, 10 of feathers. Beautiful. Okay. So the swift release, the loss, the leaving behind. This is 10 of swords. The leaving behind of what once was allows for the new life to grow. And this sort of nautilus shell, or the mean spiral, is in green here. Green is heart energy. And I feel like your circles of support here, it's the people that support your heart, the people that you willingly share your heart with, are the ones that are going to really help you through this transition. Anyone who speaks against your choice or tries to stop you from making the choice, I feel is not, they're not speaking truth. They're not giving you information or engaging with you in a truthful manner. I don't feel that they're outright deceptive, but I would say to you that they're saying those things to you because of their own fears, their own concerns. They're thinking about it from their perspective. Well, if I were to do that, oh my God. Well, okay, thank you so much, but I don't really need to know what you would do in this situation necessarily, or quite frankly, it's not your situation. You're not in it, and your situation and your circumstances are different than mine. I almost want to say to you here, the rebirth that comes from that 10 of feathers, or that 10 of swords, the rebirth is liberating. It's also something that gives you full license. I talked about it before. You don't have to ask for permission to do what you need to do. This gives you full license because there's literally nothing left. I'm going to say, like, just to give you an example, if this is a work situation, you're going to leave your work situation in such a way that there is no going back. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't feel like you're going to sabotage or torpedo your work situation by, calling your boss a nasty name or anything like that. Although for some of you, maybe that would be fun. I don't know, like whatever floats your boat. But I do feel here like you're definitive. So when you make that when you make that resignation, whatever it happens to be, and you have the conversation with your boss says, oh, what can we do to keep you? And you say, nothing. There's nothing. You can wish me well. You can throw me a little party. You can stay in touch, or don't call me ever again. Like, I'm done. So I feel like whatever this is, you are putting it in such a way, making the situation occur in such a way that there is no going back. It is only about moving forward. And that's what feels important. Sorry, I think I just spit all over the cards. Oh my God. And they're shiny, so it's worse. I can't even hide it and pretend like it didn't happen. Oh my goodness. Okay, hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? So, first of all, before I even turn over this card, I feel like the obvious fear here is that you're cutting things off like clean break, clean slate, and movement forward here. And at the time that you're doing it, it's going to feel really good, and you're going to be really, composed about it and motivated, and you're going to be sure. And then, like we all do, or most of us do, there is a moment of buyer's remorse, is what I like to call it. There's a moment of, oh shit, was I too impulsive? Did I really mean to do this? Is this really the right thing? Did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? And I want to say, no, you haven't. You haven't made a mistake. You're following your intuition. Stick with that. But understand that you are going to have that moment of, holy shit balls, what did I just do? And what you just did is you chose yourself. And maybe you chose yourself for the first time to this degree. I love it. One of shells, abundance. Check this out. So this isn't the fear. This is the hope. This is the what you're stepping into. And this is the ace of cups. I mean, what a beautiful card. It's about love. It's about support. It's about an initiation on a new journey. It's about choosing you. It's healing. It's the overflowing. It's an overabundance. We could even say an overabundance of whatever it is that you're creating and manifesting for yourself. Because it is the shell element, the water, there is going to be a swelling of emotion. There's going to be a lot of that. I take heart. I feel gratitude for all that this has provided me. I'm so grateful for what I'm opening myself up to as I move forward. I'm grateful for who I've become. A pearl can only exist because of the friction and the grit and the grime and the processing that occurs within that clamshell. So this is you being able to shine your light in a new way. You're taking what you've learned from the old and you're applying it to the new. And trust and have faith that you have what it takes. You have what is required to be able to move forward in that. No room for self-doubt here. This is only about self-love and complete and utter trust in the fact that you know best. Only you know best what is going to be best for you at this time. And remember, you're co-creating with the universe. And dare I say, it's not only a co-creation, you're commanding that the universe, you're telling the universe, who's boss? I'm boss today. I've already talked about it with my high self, with my guides. This is what we're doing. So universe, I command and demand that you bring me the things that I need to make this happen. Thank you for making it so, universe, and bring me more. And this is your outcome, the happy place of this transformation if you stay on course. Who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Oh, look at this. Apprentice of Lotus. So the apprentice is the knight. And the lotus is spirit. So this is the fifth element in this deck. And I'm surprised that it's only showed up here, but I think it's also very fitting. We talked about you having a bit of a spiritual up-leveling. And I feel like when we're talking about the outcome, that's exactly what this is. And we have a crystal skull here. And I'm sure this crystal skull has a name. I just can't remember what is Albert or something like that. I think it's really interesting that you've got this crystal skull, because where this is taking you is to a new pathway of ancient wisdom and knowledge that has been waiting for you to be ready to embody it, to be ready to encase it, to hold it, the cup containing that wisdom and knowledge and that information. Source has got your front, back, sides, bottom, and top here. And when we talk about that lotus energy, the lotus flower grows out of the muck and mire, similar to that, the story of the pearl. And it is about the wisdom and knowledge. And I feel like at the end of August, you are going to be so clear on your path, not only are you going to have this physical clarity around what is sort of transpiring in the direction that you are taking, I feel like you're also going to really understand on that spiritual level, oh, this is me having been aligned to my deeper soul's purpose that I didn't even know I had access to. I didn't even know this was a possibility. And yet, this is exactly where I'm at this time. I love this for you guys. So, August, I feel we can call this like a mini spiritual awakening, but it's a joyful one. And what did we talk about at the beginning? Peace and ease. This is how you get to the peace and ease. You are whole and complete, just as you are. That also makes you holy. And it requires cutting the cords, cutting the ties on some of this, I want to say, 3D physical expectation. And now you're plotting a new course. But I'm going to say it's a new old course because you're going into that truly ancient wisdom that has been within you all along. It's just been unlocked. You're ready for it now. You are the vessel for it. You can hold it and sustain it and maintain it. And that's what makes all the difference. Wow, Geminis. Oh my goodness. So that is your transformational tarot for August. And wow, this is going to be a really big one for you. I'm so excited for you guys. In case you're just new to me, I do private readings. So, this is a lot. If there's a lot going on here for you and you could use a little support on that, please feel free to reach out. I would be more than happy to support you through this process. And otherwise, guys, hope you have the most amazing month. This is going to be a powerful one. Just really enjoy it. And I want to say we will see you on the flip side for the next episode of Black Feather Code Tour, Divining a VIP Life, and Transform Well.